Hello creatives, welcome to my channel. Today I figured we could do some nice fall sticker packs because we're into the season of fall and I figured that it would be really cute to do some fall designs. We're going to be in Photoshop today on the iPad. I did mention we were going to be back on the iPad. We are back. We're going to explore some new brushes and we're also going to be trying some different techniques. So if you guys haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe and give this video a like if you like these types of Photoshop videos. And let's dive in. Well, I think I'm going to do a square 3x3 artboard just to start. So when we think of fall, we think of like pumpkin spice, coffee, apples, apple pie, cinnamon, pumpkins, fall leaves, and all that kind of thing. So I kind of want to incorporate those into here. Let's start with coffee. Everyone is all crazed about like apple crisp coffees and pumpkin spice lattes and such like that. I have some inspiration picks off to the side. So if you see me looking this way, it's because I have inspiration over there. I'm going to choose my brush tool. If you double tap on the brush tool, you can explore all the different types of brushes that are here. There are brushes that you can download as well. You can see that there's lots of different kinds. Like there's watercolors, there's wash, there's spatter texture, which we may use later, but there's also different libraries that you can download for free if you have an Adobe CC account. I do, so I have downloaded all of these brush libraries here, so there's plenty for me to work with. So let's dive into, let's see, what's a mega pack? Oh, there's a drawing box, there's an ink box, there's a paint box. There's so many boxes in here. I have not explored these yet. Let's explore them together. We have Kyle's Paint Box Acrylic Basic. Kyle's Paint Box Big Bad Wolf. Kyle, what's with the names? Funny, but okay. Let's see. Big White Softy, what's that? All right, I do have a default color selected here. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull it more saturated. Again, if you guys haven't seen my What's Missing in Photoshop on the iPad video, go ahead and give it a watch. It's definitely informative. I'll leave a link up on the screen for you guys. You guys did mention, however, that I made a mistake, and I did. We're all learning here. So my mistake was that over here on the right toolbar, under the 3 dots over here on the right toolbar, there is something called clipped adjustment. And if you select that, you have all of your photo adjustments nested in here. That was my mistake. I did make that mistake. And you guys were very quick to call me out on it. So thank you for everyone who commented because for some reason I missed this. I don't know how, but they're all there. So that's good news for us because we may even dive into those today to get different like feels, different moods for our stickers that we want. So those are all there if you guys are looking for how to manipulate your photographs in Photoshop on the iPad. All right. Oh, there's color balance there too. That's great because we may need to use that later. All right, let's try a brush stroke. That is a very big brush. Okay, but that's going to be beautiful for when we do our coffee. I wonder, let's see, the brush is at 250. Oh my goodness. All right, let's take that down, shall we? There we go. You can always decrease or increase the size of your brushes over here on the left toolbar. There is a secondary pop-up menu. The colors of your brush are here, and then the opacity of your brush is right here. And you can also open up the rest of your brush settings in this menu. You can change the pressure size, you can change the flow, the roundness, and all of that. So I'm going to keep that defaulted. And we're just going to explore these brushes. Let's see about drawing a circle. Oh, it overlays quite nicely. Okay, this is going to be good. So I'm just going to do some nice overlaying brush textures and I'm going to get the overall shape. In that video that I mentioned, there is one thing that I really wish was in here and that was swatches. Unfortunately, they don't have swatches. So we're just going to have to reselect all of the colors that we use. I was originally thinking of doing this in Procreate, but I just defaulted to Photoshop. But if you guys want to see fall sticker packs created in Procreate and actually see them printed live, I will do that if you guys want to. So go ahead and like this video if you want to see that. Let's go into the actual coffee cup of this. Now I think I'm going to do a nice gray tone, but first let's do some color swatches on the actual artboard. And to do that, there's this lasso tool here. And if you double tap on it, you can choose the marquee rectangle tool. I do remember one of you asking me if, like, how are you supposed to draw a perfectly straight line in Photoshop on the iPad? There isn't exactly a way to do it other than to practice drawing from your shoulder instead of your wrist, because when you draw from your wrist, your lines get broken, especially if you're going like a long stroke. If you're drawing like this and your wrist is broken, you won't get a straight line. But if you draw, let me see if I can show this. If you draw using your shoulder, like that, you'll get a straight line. Or you can use this square marquee tool that's underneath, nested in the lasso tool, and you can draw yourself a line, like a really thin line like that, fill it with color, and then you can use that as your straight line, or you can use it as a preset guide for yourself. So there's multiple ways to do it, but there's no like take your brush tool, drag across the artboard, hold, and then it'll straighten automatically for you. There is none of that here. That only works in Procreate as far as I'm aware. So if you guys know of any other ways, leave them in the comments down below so we can help each other out. And I'm gonna make my little swatches here. If you hold down this touch selector, it will constrain the proportions, and then we can fill it with our default color. Don't forget to deselect. I'm gonna do a few of these. Okay, so now that we have our swatches, let's go back into our brushes. Instead of doing the wide softy, it's a cloud. Let's choose, makes it really handy when your swatches are right there. That looks kind of cool. I like that. Okay, we're just gonna do the overall shape of the coffee cup. Now you guys can be a little bit more precise with yours. I'm just choosing kind of like a more rougher brush. And I'm gonna switch brushes here back to the big softy. If you don't have these brushes, that's totally okay. You can use whatever brushes you personally have. Now it's okay if you don't have, why? Oh my gosh, it's defaulted to 250. We did 80 something, right? And we did around 86. You can always just use whatever brushes you have, or if you want to download them, the way to download new brushes is to go into the brush library, click on the plus sign, and go to discover new brushes right here, and it will take you to the website to download more brushes. So that way you can get your own set of brushes. So we have an overall shape of the coffee cup. I'm going to choose a different color for the coffee because I know there's like dark areas as well. So I'm going to choose more of like a deeper brown and keep it similar to the color scheme we got going here. Let's tap on that other layer, get our color swatches secured here, tap the paint bucket, put it in there, deselect. Let's go back to the brush tool. So now we have our color swatches for this, so that way we don't have an issue later trying to get our colors back. And I am overlaying these, like if we wanted to. I did that on the wrong layer, guys. Hang on. Make sure we do it on the right layer. Always gotta make sure you're on the right layer, guys. It's very easy to things on the wrong layer. Okay. I am overlaying colors just because overlaying of color gives it more of like a softer feel, makes the painting more complex. And if it makes it easier for you guys to get the correct perspective, you can go into this marquee tool here. There's lots of different options. Oh, and by the way, they did come out with the magic wand tool, which is great because the magic wand tool is super helpful for making selections. But you can use the marquee ellipse tool and make any kind of size ellipse that you need to help you with creating the right perspective that you need. Paint bucket tool, these options here, so it doesn't take me forever. So sorry about that, guys. My camera cut off and I don't know where we were at. So This is where we're at now. I just chose a deep dark color and put it on the inside rim. I chose a lighter color to do some lighting, and I filled in the cup with our main color. Now I'm going to do some nice soft shading. So I don't know where it cut out. Hopefully it wasn't too far. But layering colors, and also you can do different lighting effects, like I will show you here in a moment, can really help you out when it comes to making this look more believable. Okay, so I added a few clipped adjustments already to this. This one, which has exposure adjustments to it, just so I can bring out the brightness. I also ended up adding some adjustments for brightness to the saucer, and also I added some contrast, a multiply effect to the shadow, just so it gives it more of a deeper shadow, because you want something that's like deep when it comes to shadows. So let's go back to our coffee cup, and we're going to make a highlight. So let's create a new layer. And it's always a good habit to do multiple layers, especially if you're going to be overlaying lots of things, like if you're doing multiple stages of color, if you're doing multiple stages of lighting and such like that. So we're going to go back to the cup layer. I'm going to zoom in here, and we're going to work more on this cup. Go back into that mega pack. I'm going to go to the Big Wide Softy brush by Kyle Webster, which I really do like this brush. It's quite nice. I'm going to choose our original color. It always defaults to that massive size. Let's default down to 65. Let's do that. You can be as freeform or as direct as you want. Like if you want really like hard implied lines, you can do shadows right next to highlight. What's the brush stroke actually look like? Oh, it looks like, oh, okay. We can use this. That'd be really perfect for the latte art that we're gonna do, because I wanted to do latte art on this. That will be perfect. And remember, when you're in Photoshop, just like with any painting app, it's gonna take your pressure sensitivity into account. So the harder you press, increase in size for the brush itself on the canvas. I still want to keep the overall shape of the coffee cup a bit more rounded out. There we go. What I was planning to do was create some shadows and such over here. So I think I'm going to do that with the same brush. I'm just going to decrease my brush a little bit. I'm going to put the shadows on a different layer, because I created this layer earlier and I wanted the shadows to be a bit softer. By the way, do you guys use the rotate canvas in Photoshop? I find it quite handy, especially for like the harder to get to areas, but sometimes it's a little finicky, you know? It doesn't always like to work properly. Add another clipped adjustment to this, since we do have that option. Let's make this brush a bit bigger so this takes up less time. I'm really liking these brushes. This is the Kyle's Paintbox Creamy Brush. You guys can use any kind of watercolor brush. I think would pretty much be comparable to this one. So you can use any watercolor brush you happen to have. Let's go into here. Let's do a clipped adjustment. Let's do brightness and contrast. Let's try that. I also want to do a bit more contrast. Bring down the brightness. Let's see what darken does. Multiply makes it really dark. I don't know if I want to go that dark. Let's see. Overlay. The overlay is nice. Let's do overlay. And we'll just bring down that opacity a little bit. Let's take our eraser tool. We'll bring the hardness down quite a bit so it's quite fluffy. I have my hardness down to about 35. For the eraser brush, instead of doing a hard round, I'm gonna do a soft round. It's just your basic soft round brush. Take our brush tool, and instead of the creamy brush, I'm gonna go back to and do oil soft edge under the Kyle brushes. Select our main color here. Brush over so that we have like some soft edges. That looks really good. Gosh, that looks like we did this with Conte, didn't it? Okay, I kind of want to do something similar to the saucer. Now that we have that, let's go and make a new layer up at the tippy top here. And then we're going to get into the latte art, which is one of my favorite parts. Okay, what brush did we say that we were going to use for that? I think we said it was going to be... It wasn't an oil brush, it was the creamy one. Okay, so we're going to go into our colors. I'm going to choose a white, and I'm not going to do it at 125. We're going to go quite small at 60, and then I'm going to create the latte art for this because this is going to be quite fun. Okay, we're going to do a pumpkin, just for funsies. Okay, so you know how they make latte art, where it looks like the swan or like the little hearts? I'm gonna do what would look to be a pumpkin. Do pumpkin spice latte right there. I think it looks pretty good. Now I wanted to do something really quite fun, so let me extend my artboard. Let's choose our white paint bucket. There we go. So now we have an extended artboard. I'm going to create a new layer. More color swatches over here. The marquee tool. That looks pretty cool. We do the grays, the blues, and then the same color scheme that we have going on over here. We can do those. So I'm going to go to my new layer. And we're gonna make some pumpkins. Now, I think what I'm gonna do, I really like the style that I did over here. I think I'm gonna do something very similar. I'm gonna choose the Mega Pack paint box. Let's start with the softy and see where we go from there. Let's bring down the size quite a bit. I'm on this dark blue color here. Make it very painterly. I kind of like the painterly style that we're going with. And then for the stalk of this, I think I'm going to do like this mid gray. But let's do the Impressionist brush. Let's see what that would look like here. Oh, let's do a new layer just in case we want to change some things. Do a new layer underneath this layer here. Let's do an outline. We'll do a smooth one. Yeah, let's do a smooth one. Let's do an outline with that dark brown, or dark gray over here. So we're doing like kind of like different styles. Some defined lines here. use like a really soft eraser to lessen the amount of shadows here, just so it looks softer. I'm going to add a new layer and let's do some text. I'm going to do some text here. Instead of Palantino, let's do something a bit better than that. Let's see. Outline it. Again, for straight lines, you do want to draw from your shoulder, not from your wrist. You can always copy and paste the same thing so that way you don't have to do so much excess work. You always want to make it easier on yourself. You never want to make it harder. So I'm just gonna. There we go. I kind of like how rustic that feels. And then we can hide this and you guys can see just what I went with here. So I'm really liking that. So I'm just going to delete that text layer because that is exactly what I wanted. What do you guys think? I kind of really like the way these came out. You guys let me know which one you like the best. And you guys will get to see these on my shop pretty soon. So you guys can go and grab some for yourself if you like to. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it's helpful to you as far as how to use brushes, lighting effects, utilizing certain adjustment effects, and I will see you all in the next video. See you soon, creatives.